Fit Hivers, I've been asked several times about the leaderboard and some workout tracking for the WOD calendar. So I figured I'd just make this super quick video and kind of explain my thoughts on it and ways that you could use it. Just like with anything else, though, with FitHive, there's 100 different ways I feel like you can do one thing. So you just got to decide what works for you, your clients, and what's the easiest thing and what's important to you. So I'll get right into it. So the first thing to look at is the post workouts. So within these workouts, you can adjust and change these WOD calendars, and you can use this multiple ways. You can use this for different programs. You can do this for different sections of the programs. The examples that I'm going to show you is if you split it up into all three sections, and specifically speaking to the leaderboards, this would be if you want to actually have a leaderboard that people can look at for the day. For different sections of the workout. So in my example, I've got a strength portion, a Metcon portion, and a competition prep that's at the end of the class that they could do if they wanted to do so. So I'll just get right into it. So in each one of these, if you go to the WOD calendar, you can adjust and change these by hitting click Manage Calendar. Click on the calendar that you want. You can add as many calendars as you'd like, so if you like different sections. But when you create this, you can give it a name. You can have it set as a default. If you do a default WOD, what that is going to do is it'll default whatever template that you create. So if your workouts have a standard kind of template that you always want to start with for the day, or if each section has a standard template that looks good on the WOD screen, looks good the way that you want it, you can go ahead and set that up. You can also set it up to automatically create a short-term leaderboard. And when I say short-term, this specific leaderboard will be only for this workout, only for this day. And the only way to really see the history of this is if people go back to that specific day. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Now, a couple of things on this leaderboard, you can set it as a default score enabled. I recommend doing that, especially if you have kind of standard programming each and every day. The other thing that you can do here, you can have it set as a type in terms of what you want them to count. So these are just hard-coded ones and options. But you can also use this type label, and literally you can type it in for anything. So in this particular case, I'm going to have members that actually want to keep track of it or be on a leaderboard and have them add up the amount of pounds that they moved in 2 sets of 10, 2 sets of 8, and 3 sets of 1. So in this particular leaderboard, I'm going to have them track that. I set this as a default in this particular workout for today that I want them to track or record their heaviest load lifted in their maxes and PRs. So I'm going to just put a note here so they remember to do that. And then I'm going to hit save. Now, if you do it there, that's going to default to that specific every single time. And you can change and adjust these. So for example, in this Metcon, I use the table here and created these outlines. So that way I can have a header, body. You can also add links. You can add affiliate links. You can add pictures, videos, just about anything you want to do here. It's pretty free form. In this particular Metcon, I'm just going to have it count reps, and I'm going to split the leaderboard into genders for this specific one. For the competition prep, kind of did the same thing, but this is just going to kind of show you an example of what it will look like. But in the competition prep, I'm not tracking or I don't care about the leaderboard, so I didn't set it as a default. So it'll never add that leaderboard into that specific track. Now I did this strength, Metcon, and comp prep. This is just combining all three. So if you didn't want to have separate leaderboards, or if you're doing it for a specific track or a type of class, and you didn't want to have a bunch of them, and it could be a boot camp class, a CrossFit class, a functional fitness class, a semi-private class, whatever that looks like. In this particular case, I formatted it with the tables to kind of keep it organized. And I'll show you what that looks like. I do want them to still track their heaviest load lifted in the maxes and PRs, because that's what I really, out of all this stuff, the only thing that I really care about is what their 1 rep max is and what the heaviest load is. And then I put the competition prep down here. And in this specific track or calendar, the leaderboard is for total pounds moved for back squat only. So in this particular case, I'm only using one of the workouts or one of the sections to create the leaderboard for the day, which is the most important part in this particular workout for what I'm looking to do. So I set that there. The setting the calendars up like this, though, you can track leaderboards for each individual one. Now, inside of once you create your calendars and you kind of format it the way that you want, when you go into each one of these, it will default to whatever you may have created, which is really, really cool, especially, again, if you have a really good template that you want to keep and look good. But you can also adjust individual days this way, and also adjust the individual day calendar. And again, remember, this leaderboard specifically in the WOD calendar section is only for today, and it doesn't really get tracked as a history or anything anywhere else for the individual unless they go to that specific day and that specific WOD calendar. Now, when you create it this way, what it will look like to the member would be something like this. So you go into the member app. I'm going to click on WODs. They can see the different tracks or the different calendars. They can see their strength for the day, record heaviest load lifted in your maxes and PRs. So I'll keep track of that. But in this leaderboard, notice it says total pounds moved. I can submit to this leaderboard. So I'm just going to say I did 2,700 pounds. And it will track and update my specific one, right? So if somebody makes a mistake, they can go back in there and adjust it. You can adjust it on the back end as well inside of so if they make a mistake, they can go into the leaderboard and submit again if you like to do that. You can also click see the full list, and it'll show them just a quick ranking system or most recent for that specific day. So I'm going to go back to the WODs. And so I just got done with my strength, but because inside of my strength, I also wanted to record the heaviest load lifted in your maxes and PRs. So in this specific case, I'm going to go to, you can always use the record section in your apps because it shows all 4 things, or you can use these different options to go directly to it. So I'm just going to click maxes and PRs. I'm going to find my back squat. And so my last record was 250 pounds. And as of today, I'm going to say I went to 450. I wish. But that's what I'm going to say. So now, if I ever use the program section or if I want to look back into the history, I can actually see a history of what I've been doing within the last year. Vice versa, if I look at this, the WOD, and I look at the calendars, and I'm only going to do the strength, metcon, and comp prep, notice how I can see all the workouts, which is awesome. It's super easy to do. I can record the heaviest load lifted in your maxes and PRs, just like I just showed you. I can do the competition prep if I like. But then here at the bottom, notice I just put an extra note here. So when people are using the leaderboard, they're not trying to track everything. And they're just going to track the specific leaderboard that we want. So notice how it, I'm going to update it here, and I'm going to do, 4,000 pounds. I'm getting real strong. So I just updated that record as well. Okay. So that's one way that you can use the leaderboard. But again, remember that this specific leaderboard in the WOD calendar is only going to be a short-term calendar for the day, that day specifically. And the only way for them to go back and see that specific leaderboard is to use these little previous buttons and go back to that specific day of the week that they want to go to, right? So if you're going to use this, again, it's just see what it is for that specific day. Now, the other leaderboard that we have is you can go to post leaderboards. And these leaderboards are going to be more for the entire facility, for all of your clients to compare and keep track of very specific workouts, movements. In my example here, I created a 30-second max effort assault bike. And notice how the type is max calories. So in this, what I did is I just created the type and did the custom type here. So I'm going to edit this. So I just put the type label here as max calories because that's what I want to track. I don't necessarily want to track any one of these things. I just want max calories. Now, the way to kind of think about this, and CrossFit total, 1 rep max for each one, and then the total. I also did Fran, and I know some facilities will have RX or scaled, and each one of these, what I did is I did a subtitle for the scaled version and a subtitle for the RX version. And you can have as many of these leaderboards as you want, but the way to kind of think about this specific leaderboard is, I'm just using Rogue as an example, is think of it as a gym's ranking system or whiteboard. So if you're breeding a community where they want to compete and compare with each other and really keep track of who's top dog in the facility, kind of like this, right? These are just named workouts or benchmark workouts that Rogue has, and it has first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and you would keep track of this for the entire facility. That's the way you kind of want to think of these specific leaderboards. And let's say, for example, we're going to go for back squat, 1 rep max, record my heaviest load. If I was going to keep track of this as a member, I would go in and go to my back squat and be like, track my 450 pounds that I did for that day. And then I'm like, man, that's a really good score. I'm going to go ahead and track it in my the main leaderboards. Let me add that real quick. This is why I love FitHive. It happens so fast. But I'm going to go into the main leaderboards, and I'm going to find my 1 rep max back squat, and I'm going to go ahead and submit a score. So I'm going to submit my 450 pounds, hit submit. Perfect. So right there, now I'm on the list, and then I can also view anybody that has ever put anything on that leaderboard, and I can change by gender, and I can change by rank or most recent. So if I want to be that the person that wants to track that stuff, I can really track it. So that's the biggest differences between the fitness section, where you can actually post leaderboards and keep track of it, and the leaderboard inside of the WOD calendar itself. Next thing, just kind of show you what this looks like since I have leaderboards on here. As I scroll down, notice how it says Fran, and then the subtitle at the bottom is RX or scaled. So if you wanted to keep track of both RX and scaled versions, you can keep track of that. But again, this is holistically for everybody in the facility, and this will keep a full history. Now, if you have people that don't want to do this, or you want people want to keep it individually, we'll just say Fran RX, and you have people that don't want everybody to see it, but they want to keep track of their own personal times. Again, you can create the maxes and PRs. I'm just going to go down to my Fran, right? Fran, that's what's super important to me. I'm going to put that time in, and that time is going to be 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Boom. I got real fast, real quick, right? But this is one way they can do it. This will be for that individual to keep track of that time. However, again, if they want to actually be in the leaderboard section here so that everybody can see it. So I did scale or RX, and I'm going to do 2 minutes and 30 seconds. With these leaderboards as well, you can also keep track of this stuff, review it in terms of the leaderboards. For example, let's go to back squat. I think I put something in there. I can view it, and I can see what's been put in there, and I can trash it. So if I know that he didn't get to depth, I can delete it, or I can adjust it, right? Or take a look at him, or reach out to him, that kind of thing. Okay. I can also go here and see any maxes and PRs that people have been inputting in. So if I have a 1 rep back squat in my WOD calendar and I wanted them to track in their maxes and PRs, I can actually go here and see what those times were, when the date was, who that person is. So if they accidentally put 4,000 pounds in here for the back squat, you know, I can go to their record, go to their back squats and be like, you know what, I'm going to edit an existing record. Cool. So they didn't do 450 pounds. I was sitting there watching them and they did 225. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and change that. So that way it updates there. The last thing I'm going to show you about the WOD calendar. If you use the WOD calendar, you can also do this WOD screen. And to find the WOD screen, click the little tablet icon up there. You can continue. I would log out just so you don't have your login in there, but I'm going to stay logged in for now. Hit WOD, pick the calendar that you want to show. So I'm just going to show you 2 examples here. So I'm going to show you the strength. So if I just have the strength, I can have it on a screen and, you know, have it look something like this, or have this pulled up. So if people want to come over and submit to the leaderboard, they can. But that's all they can do is submit to the leaderboard from this particular screen. The other way that you can do this is I'm going to just show you the what it looks like when I put all of them on there. It can look something like this on the screen as well. And again, you can kind of format these, add pictures, videos, you know, whatever you'd like to do. Cool, just for fun, I'm going to add this cool little picture just to kind of show you what you can potentially do with it. So I'm just going to go back to the WOD screen. It has all 3 things on there. And just for fun, I put that picture in there. And you can change and kind of play around with, you know, the sizing, what you want it to look like. You just want to make sure it's formatted for the size screen that you have. Just some different things that you can do, kind of have fun with it. You can also put this as announcements. I've seen that happen as well if you use the WOD screen, is add the, you know, announcement section here, or, you know, any number of things if you like to do so. If you have any questions, let me know. Post in the comments below, whether you're watching the YouTube video, whether you're commenting in the Facebook group, and let me know what you think.